Hello there, this is Stephen Elder, or the Elder of Rock, hence the name. Play on Kiss the Elder. Yeah, I explain this sometimes. I'll explain this in the videos, maybe the first few times, but you should know the gist of it after a while. Anyway, this is also my first really official kind of post. I did an intro video, but this is like my first actual content one, I guess you could say. And what I'm doing today is I hear them talk. I've heard you hear the talk of deep cuts on an album, which are generally they're like not the hits, not necessarily not the singles, because sometimes songs can become hits without being a single. They either become a popular concert favorite or something else maybe causes them to do that. Sometimes there's a video, um, that doesn't necessarily become a hit, but you still have a video. What Def Leppard had like a couple like that for High and Dry when they had videos for it, and they weren't, those songs aren't really considered like, I guess they're big hits. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like three albums I think do not have any deep cuts anymore. And it's either because part of this is probably because these are older albums done at a time when maybe you could play more than the hits, especially on a non-top 40 station, an album oriented station that plays, maybe some of the other stuff that's not the hits. And so it comes from that. And these albums are older. And so that's why. And there's maybe other reasons also. But anyway, so the first one I'm going to choose is I got my old vinyl here, Back in Black by AC/DC. Um, Generally, when this came out, yeah, there were deep cuts on it considered for it, but you have, and I love it when bands. Now, why do the bands do this sometimes? They they they'll put the songs on the album, but not in the order they appear. So like you go to put on the album, and yeah. So, but anyway, it starts off with Hell's Bells, of course, which over the years you hear on radio. I hear that one on radio now sometimes, even though I don't listen to radio much. But also you hear these maybe in a jukebox, played on a jukebox a lot in a bar or club. You know, People will choose like this. The other thing also is that going to parties. Uh, when I went to parties, when I had parties in high school and a little bit after, they just throw on an album with something, and in a lot of cases it was Back in Black. But you have Hell's Bells, like I said, Shoot to Thrill. I think that's always kind of been played, but I think also what happened is Marvel used these in some of their movies, Iron Man and the Avengers specifically, and that brought some popularity to them too. What do you do for money? Yep, I hear that. Giving the dog a bone. Um, yeah, I've heard that one. I've heard that one pretty recently on an album on a radio station around here. They play music, kind of go with Go Radio 104.1. I'll give you a plug, and they play on the weekends. But yeah, I've heard that. Let Me Put My Love Into You maybe is a deep cut still. Maybe you don't hear that one so often. And then you have, of course, Back in Black, which became huge. You Shook Me All Night Long, of course, which is the biggest one on here. Have a Drink on Me. I've heard that one on the radio, and of course, it's a very popular one you hear in a bar. You also hear bands playing that one a lot because it fits the mood of being in a bar. Shake a Leg, maybe the deep cut here, but again, I've heard that a few times, and if not on the radio, in bars and clubs. And Rock and Roll Noise Pollution is, of course, the anthem, like a kind of an anthem, and so you hear that on the radio. I've heard that one on the radio also. So there's that one. Back in Black is my first one. My next one is going to be Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. And of course this is my 20th anniversary. Oh wow, that was 25th, but it's a 20th anniversary copy of this. And again, comes from a time when, again, um, a radio station around me when I was in Dayton, Ohio. That's where I'm from. WTUE. They were one of the ones that would play stuff other than hits. At least until MTV came out. Then they like it went really weird. They like you'd hear Adam Man, and then you hear like a Led Zeppelin song. But anyway, um, so okay, maybe speak to me. The first thing on there is like a heartbeat kind of thing. Yeah, maybe. I mean, but I think they will, so it goes into breathe. Hear that on the radio. On the run, okay, yes, that's like this little weird instrumental, but again, you still might hear that sometimes, and like in a bar, like this whole album, Time, of course, big song. Um, Great Gig in the Sky, like again, it's like you hear, I don't know, I think it's just because it's in a bar. Money, of course, the big hit. Us and Them, yes. Any Color You Like. Um, yeah, that's a deep cut. Maybe you can consider that a deep cut on here, but Brain Damage and Eclipse. So again, like I've heard, I don't know if it's because you just hear these, like I said, at parties, and then people just throw this on, and they would play this whole thing in bars. You just hear like a lot of these, but yeah, so I just consider this one an album that really doesn't have deep cuts anymore. So yeah, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. And then my last one is I don't think there'll really be any argument on this one, but is of course Led Zeppelin 4. Yep, yeah. Let's go over the Black Dog. I mean, looking at this Black Dog, of course you hear that a lot. All over, man. That's like so popular. Rock and roll, you know. Also, I've been thinking about this. Also, a lot of these songs maybe get used in commercials. Also, a lot they get used in commercials and advertisements for different things. So there's that. But anyway, rock and roll. That made me think of it because I think I heard rock and roll on a commercial recently. Battle of Evermore. Um, you know, that on there, and of course, Stairway to Heaven. No, you never hear that one. That might be the deep cut, right? Um, Misty Mountain Hop. Yes, of course. That's very, you know, very. You hear that, Maybe this one is the deep cut. Four Sticks. Maybe that's the one you don't hear uh, quite so often. Going to California, yes, you hear that quite a bit. And When the Levee Breaks, of course, is also on there. So yeah, this is that's from my box set of our albums. So there you go. So yes, I have a couple others in mind, but actually, I'm not gonna. I like to hear what you think is an album that has no deep cuts anymore. So you can post in the comments there. And that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna try to keep these short for right now, because I don't have anybody with me, and a lot of you probably have short attention spans like me, and don't have the time. So that's it. Albums that have no deep cuts, maybe part one. Maybe I'll do another one, and I'll be doing posts on other things. Also, yeah, some other ideas for things like I got concert tickets. Maybe I'll pull those out and talk about those concerts I went to in the past. And I have ticket stubs, which is something you don't get anymore at a concert. All right, and that is it. So thank you very much, and thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. All righty, we'll see you soon.